I saw a couple of comments yesterday, and I actually received an email asking what I thought the ratings were going to be for the NBA playoffs. With March Madness wrapping up, the NBA playoffs starting here in a couple of weeks, I figured what I would do today is I would compile the most recent NBA ratings along with the ratings for the Final Four into one video. Now, let me ask you something. Does anyone care about the NBA anymore? I'm not talking about NBA news. I'm not talking about dramatics that happen off the court. I'm talking about the product on the floor. Does anyone care? I don't know if the NBA as an on-court product has ever been any more irrelevant than it is right now. I want you to think about something. When is the last time the NBA led the news cycle for something that happened during a game? During a game in the regular season. When is the last time that happened? The way the mainstream media covers the NBA, you would think that the NBA is relevant. But this is a league that only makes news for things that happen away from the game. What are the biggest stories in the NBA right now? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar calling out LeBron James for not being woke enough. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith. This is supposedly the media's leading voice in the NBA. This is a man ESPN's paying $12 million every year, mostly because they know he will swallow and regurgitate their bullshit. But part of that salary is because Stephen A. Smith is entrenched in the NBA. He has inside sources, he has contacts, he supposedly has relationships with superstar players. The $12 million NBA insider got schooled by a fucking Twitter account named Ballsack Sports. Not once. Stephen A. Smith was fooled twice. He used reports from this account when talking about the relationship between James Harden and Kyrie Irving. The problem is, the account is a spoof. Their pinned tweet is talking about misinformation on social media and how anyone can just make shit up. The account even says it wants the mainstream media to not be like them. This is your $12 million NBA insider. Not only does Stephen A. spread lies and propaganda when it comes to politics, he spreads bullshit when it comes to NBA inside information too. Stephen A. Smith has absolutely zero credibility left. But enough with that shit fuck. Let's get back to NBA ratings, a topic the mainstream media refuses to cover. They're not going to be able to ignore ratings in the NBA for long. Playoffs are starting, like I said, in a couple of weeks. And while I'm thinking about it, to answer your question, what do I think ratings will be for the NBA playoffs? I think it's going to be another embarrassment. I think ratings will be incredibly low, especially when compared to the ratings for March Madness. And the reason I think that, the NBA doesn't have any crossover stars. They don't have any players that appeal to the casual fan. Outside of Steph Curry, maybe Kevin Durant. Who is going to draw in the casual NBA viewer? It's not going to be Giannis. He was a proven ratings failure last year. They have potential young stars in Trae Young and Ja Morant, but the NBA refuses to market them to the masses. The mainstream media doesn't cover them. They're too busy talking about the failure of LeBron James. In the past, there used to be hype in the weeks leading up to the NBA playoffs. I used to get excited about it. Now, I am excited about the resurgence of my Pelicans, but the league as a whole, I don't give a shit. I just can't get into the NBA like I did in the past. Now, that's not a viewer problem. That's not a me problem. That is a marketing problem. It is the NBA's responsibility to give me a reason to watch. Now, that being said, the NBA playoffs won't be a huge embarrassing failure like Bomani Jones. And speaking of Bomani Jones, our resident loser, Sunday night, he finally managed to make the top 150 cable shows. Suckass landed at number 149, 106,000 viewers on HBO. It was a celebration in the Bomani Jones household this morning. He gathered his gender-void pussycats, they opened a six-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade, and sang a nice rendition of the Black National Anthem to celebrate. Anyway, Let's get to the ratings. We'll start with the NBA. I'm going to close out with ratings for the Final Four and women's college basketball. I pulled recent NBA ratings from Sports Media Watch. They were talking about the NBA being up 68 to 72% for the games this week compared to last season. It got me to wondering, in terms of ratings, we always compare them to last season or 2 seasons ago. I got to wondering what kind of numbers the NBA was drawing, say, in 2017, before the league began to decline due to overbearing wokeness. I'm going to give you the numbers for the ESPN and TNT games last Wednesday and Thursday. Then, I'm going to give you the same numbers from 2017. Last Wednesday, ESPN, Suns Warriors, Steph Curry did not play. 1.7 million, up 68% over last season. But when you compare it to 2017, Warriors Spurs on ESPN, they were down 59%. Warriors Spurs, March 29th, 2017, drew damn near 3 million viewers. Where did 1.2 million people go? In 5 years, where did 1.2 million people go? Thursday night, TNT, Bucks Nets, 1.5 million. 2017, Cavs Bulls, over 2 million. Late game Thursday night, Lakers Jazz, 1.28 million. 2017, Rockets Blazers, 1.4 million. Last Tuesday night, LeBron and the Lakers drew less than 1 million people on TNT. Now, I ask you again, where did the audience go? Back in 2017, the NBA was drawing almost 800,000 viewers for certain games on NBA TV. You know what they drew Friday night on NBA TV? 372,000. Guess what Pelicans Clippers drew Sunday night on NBA TV? 200,000. Now, when you compare that to Bomani Jones, those are great numbers. But in the span of 5 years, the NBA has lost damn near 60% of its audience. Now, that's on top of them losing 50% of their audience from 2011 to 2019. Take a look at this from the 2011-12 NBA season. These were the most watched NBA games that year. I left off the top 2 since they were both on Christmas Day. When is the last time we've seen the NBA draw numbers like this during the regular season? Now compare those numbers to the most recent numbers for this season. Take a look. This is the only list that I could find for this season. I'm sure it will be updated once the regular season ends. But these numbers are what we are calling big ratings for the NBA in 2021 and 2022. 10 years ago, you would have to go all the way down to number 18 to reach 3.4 million viewers for an NBA regular season game. I'll ask you again, where did millions of people go? Does the NBA not think this is a big problem? No wonder there's not any hype leading into the playoffs. Years ago, during March and April, the league's drawing 4 million for most nationally televised games. Now, they're bragging about 1.7 million. But what the hell do I know? The NBA, the media, they don't think losing over 2 million viewers is a problem. Why the hell should I? And that speaks to the problem in the NBA. The players don't care, the league doesn't care, the media doesn't care, so the fans don't care, and they don't watch. Now let's get to college basketball, something that actually draws an audience. Hell, even women's college basketball trouts the NBA this weekend. Just think about that. Women's college basketball is beating the shit out of the NBA regular season. And don't give me the excuse, well, it's the tournament. You can't compare that to the regular season. Are college football playoff games outdrawing the NFL regular season? Is women's softball outdrawing Major League Baseball? Women's college basketball should never be more popular than the NBA. The first round of the NBA playoffs last year averaged 3 million viewers. Guess what drew more than that Friday night? Women's basketball, UConn Stanford, 3.1 million. A week or two ago, one of the many NBA apologists called me out for comparing ratings for the first round of March Madness to ratings for the NBA regular season. So, I'm going to compare ratings for the Final Four this past weekend to ratings for the NBA Finals. I guess a more fair comparison would be to compare the Final Four to the conference finals, but it wouldn't even be close. The NBA, they are embarrassing enough by themselves. They don't need me to rub it in for them. Last year, the NBA Finals averaged 9.9 million viewers. Now, this gave the media an immediate boner, considering the year before, their king, "Oh, LeBron, please remove your pants and let me prove my love to you." In 2020, their king drew 7.5 million per game. Now, you have to remember, the NBA Finals is broadcast on ABC, free television. This year, the Final Four was carried by TNT. If we follow media excuses, ratings for the Final Four should be poor due to those damn cord cutters, those fucking millennials. They don't appreciate cable television. Saturday afternoon, Villanova, Kansas, 10.3 million. That represents a larger audience than every game of the 2021 NBA Finals except Game 6. Now, I'm not even going to compare it to LeBron James in 2020. He struggled to even break 8 million. Saturday night, UNC Duke, 16.3 million. Sports Media Watch, they deemed these ratings for the Final Four just okay. Unlike the NBA, there were actual expectations for the Final Four. With it being Coach K's last game, biggest rivalry in college basketball played in the Final Four, networks were expecting 18, 19, 20 million people. Where in the fuck are these types of expectations in the NBA? I don't see anyone making excuses for college basketball. You watch, in a couple of weeks, if the media isn't lying about NBA playoff ratings, they will be cranking out the excuses. It's spring. People are outside. It's cord cutting. It's the war in Ukraine. It's LeBron James not making the playoffs. We need our king. The reason the NBA is struggling, you don't have any relatable players. Outside of Steph Curry, who does the NBA have that the casual fan can get behind? There are no rivalries in the NBA anymore. The players would rather be fucking friends with each other. Instead of competing against each other, let's hug and go play video games. This league doesn't give people a reason to watch, so people are not watching. But let me know what you think about the most recent ratings. Women's college basketball. Women's college basketball. Do you think women's basketball should be outdrawing the NBA regular season? I think it's troublesome. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.